Ordinarily, all over the world, actors don't retire. Even when you are 100 and they still need a man of 100 to do something for you, so be it. If you can say talk, whatever. Even if you become a cripple, and they have room for me, I still do it too. That's the truth.
So, sir, how do you also feel seeing your children also take after you in acting? Were you the one that asked them to?
I feel so happy. See my children doing the same thing with me. I'm so happy because it goes a long way to say that the profession I have chosen for my practice is a diligent one, is a distinguished one. It's not an act of stealing. It's not an act of being dubious. It's an act that is highly respected, and my children are there too. And I'm happy that they are part of it. They are equally enjoying it. They are contributing their quota though, and I'm so happy. In those days, any came for come for not now. When I fall, let them fall. But let them fall more than me. But they should not drive me away until I am ready to go myself.
So these days, we know that you've been doing a bit of skits, and can you tell us a bit about, like the one you said you saw this morning? You said you saw you this morning.
See, occasionally, those skits. It is all about my Instagram page. I just feel like I would have even been doing more.
Okay.
But all these unnecessary bullying, young children not respecting elders, unnecessary abuses, I must tell you that there is no how they will abuse an elder that will not feel bad, because that is not our culture, that is not our tradition. What they have imported is foreign and is not helping anything. Most of the arguments they put up are stupid arguments, are senseless arguments. Some people will talk and you will look at, is this one normal, or is he high, or is she high? Now, since drug taking is the order of the day, I find it difficult differentiating responsible youth from those that are bad. For God's sake, people like us have children who are youth. I have not fewer than 20 grandchildren, and they are small children. Some of them are gradually becoming youth. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we want the best for them. And whatever I say or advise as a public thing for the youth as a whole, for God's sake, I'm advising my children too. If I wish anybody bad, that means I'm wishing my children and their grandchildren bad, which I will not do. You understand? But people need to understand the culture, the tradition of the people, especially the Yorubas. I'm sorry to say, maybe because I'm a Yoruba man, we have culture, we have tradition. You can advise your elders, you can advise your leaders, but you advise them politely. It is, if you abuse me, thinking you're advising me, if I am hard at you, I will be harder, which is not the best for you or me either. You understand what I'm saying? There is need for us to continue to train our children. There is need for us to try as much as possible imbibe the culture and tradition of the people. There is need for us to stand up and advise our government at all tiers. We have the right. We are entitled to it. Advise your leaders, tell them your view about things, but not question of bullying. The bullying will not help any one of us. But what you are doing, I think you can go this way. You understand? And gradually, it depends on the tongue. It depends on the way you have advised. The leader will realize, I can abuse my leader politely, and he will get to know that I have abused him and adjust and do things that I believe is good enough. But for God's sake, our leaders too should try as much as possible to live up to expectation. You know, in most cases, when you say something, they will think, he's in look at it. What do you really say? Maybe he's in support of this, in support of that. Are you saying that I'm in support of somebody to come and make me to be hungry? It is not possible. It is not possible. There is no doubt about it. Hunger is in the land now. But there is also need for us to look at ourselves individually. See what you are doing that contributed to this hardship. Don't look at government alone. Government has a lot to do for us to soften the road, no doubt about that. But what about you and me? What about the profiteering? If you buy something for 10 naira, for God's sake, if you make 2 naira extra, it's okay. But when you now have an opportunity, you now make 100% or 200% profit, and you think, I succeeded. I sold that thing. You are not helping. And you will now be complaining that another person is selling his product. So when you have bought so all this profiteering is not helping us too. All of us should do what we are expected to do. Look at them. In most cases, majority of them balance their stories. They tell the people what we ought to do. They still tell government what government need to do. Though there are some other medias that chooses to just have reasons for production. That's their own. But the truth is, we want government to assist and let this hardship reduce. That's the bottom line. But it is not enough to continue to cause damage to the already damaged. Just like what I used to think. I was discussing with some people the other time. I said, okay, myself and Sheke, they contested to become the chairman of our club. Eventually, Sheye won, and I did not win. And the only thing I do is looking at Sheye's mistakes is the worst thing that is happening in the political circles. You don't do that and expect progress. In fact, any contestant that lost and now sees the winner as an enemy and continue to do things to run them down, I see them as the enemies of the country. If you have contribution, it doesn't matter. Let him progress. Let that person, let the incumbent progress. When he progresses and it's your turn to take over, that means you will add more and it continues to go up for the benefit of the masses. Not a situation where you want to run down any government that is there because it is not your own government because you were unable to get there. That is not right. That is not right. That is not, it's un-African. Like I always say, this democracy is un-African. It's not our democracy. Maybe in future, the intellectuals, everybody will still, and the intellectuals and call some elders with native intelligence to sit together and design a proper democracy for Africa. Let me say Nigeria, putting the multi-tribe thing into consideration. To me, this democracy we are practicing is not ours, and we are not doing it well. Most of our politicians are not sincere. They have ulterior motives. But at the same time, I also know, I am not against anybody. I also know that there is no one that will come on board that I want to be president of Nigeria, I want to be governor of this state, I want to be chairman of that local government, that will not think good. Yes, the approach may differ. Your approach may be different from mine. You understand my point?
Yes,
But
sir.
I believe all of them want to do good. But the moment any leader is coming in and the aspect of uh, personal gain is higher, then that is the problem. That's where the problem is. And I want to believe that as Africans, we can design democracy that will help us, that will really help us. We all our children. When they say youth are the leaders of tomorrow, are they not? Youth are the leaders of tomorrow, whether we like it or not. The elders are going, the youths are coming. And of course, I agree absolutely that it is from now that they need to let the youths see properly, so that let them see where the elders have failed and be able to amend. But this I'm talking about sensible, reasonable youths, not drug addicts.
Sir, I was going to ask you how you're being a negotian, how you're being a prince from a very prominent royal family in Lagos. How did all of this shape you when you were growing up?
And those are part of my daddy's quarrel that as a prince, you are not supposed to be entertaining people, that you are supposed to be entertained. Ah, all those things I don't understand. How can you say that when I have passion for something? But I'm so happy. You see, this practice also did something fantastic for me. Um, Prior to me forming my own group in 1970, I formed my own group,
Yes.
Jide Kosoko Theatre Company in 1972, with the help of people like Sonny Ade and some others. When I formed my group in 1972, and I invited the then Federal Commissioner for Works and Housing as the special guest of honor, that is Alhaji Femi Okono. Though he couldn't come. And that's another story entirely. Because he didn't come. I was in his house to remind him that tomorrow is our event. And the man said, okay, I can't come for one reason or the other. He went in and gave me money, reasonable sum of money. So I held the money, said, thank you, sir. I'm okay, even if he doesn't come. But as I was leaving, now coming back, I said, Jide, sit down. Why is it that you Lagosians don't like to be educated? That was after my secondary school. That same year, I left secondary school that same year. And this discussion was around December. Why don't you want to? And he said, well, what's your education? I told him I just finished I just finished. And I said, okay, and what are you planning to do? I said, I want to face this drama. The man just looked at me with pity. He said, how can that be your object? Try and go to school. But already I have made up my mind and I want to do theater. Even that school certificate is too high for the level of the people that I found myself with. Just, okay. But I was conscious. I just don't want him to take back his money. So you have to go to school. You have to go to school. You must. And get that school or tell me which school I will make sure you get there. All right, sir. As I just let his answer, thank God. But something that is very important, key to my life, because it was what took me, in fact, when we now had the 4th National Festival of the Arts and Culture. I was already a member of one of the subcommittees of the of the 4th National Festival of Arts and Culture. It's a federal government. I was to practice that job, that role, within Yaba College of Technology. So, and it fell around the period of admission, and that was how I decided to join listening to Baba's advice. But on the day of the event, I had invited my mother. I had invited my father. My father was Baba Ali Baba Alaji Femi Okuno was supposed to be the chairman. My father was special guest. My mother was also special. Prior to that day, my mother and father were not on speaking terms. They are separated. But now here they are, they sat beside each other. My production made them to remarry. So I felt so contented, so happy. Here, so my job did this for me. And you know, when I was much younger, I was a rascal, very rascal. And there was a particular day we went for a recording on NTA. And you know, in those days, it's about live. As you are doing it, they are watching. But when I was about to drop at Alagomiji, we were then staying on Queen Street, Alagomiji bus stop. And I saw different people watching my movie and my production on the windows. Or you know, in those days, you can only open. You can stay outside and open somebody's window and start watching, because televisions we have the radio. And as I just dropped from the bus, I started seeing some of our people. Jide Atiri, we have seen you. I was so happy. Moving happily. Lie my way. Suffer a day for us. My parents beat a hell out of me. And they were beating me in front of the house. Yibat Ogunde was passing through in his car. And all of them now left me and start hailing him. Ogunde! There is one uncle, Yinka Jacobs. We call him Uncle Jacko. Now queries them. He said, why are you now beating this way? Is that not the person he's trying to emulate? He said, Then they started. It was that day they agreed that, okay, you can go to rehearsals only on Saturdays. You must not fail school because we run away from school. We carry our bag to go to field. You know, I don't know Elerika. Though a bit older than me, but we play together on Road Park, Casino, Alaska, all of them. I don't know Elerika eventually played for Nigeria. Well, we played together. I was a very good footballer. Even I was doing acting, but I prefer acting later more than footballing. So when we carry our bag, we are going to the field to play Gary. So, but when they now give me those conditions, you must not fail school, you must not fail your lesson, you must go to church, Sunday school, all those things, and I gathered them together. Some parents don't usually want their children to associate with me because I was rascally. You know, Garita, during Christmas, sister. I have, I take money. I have access to money, so I buy different raffia, all those things. Garita, you understand? So they don't. So some of the parents don't want their children to move with, especially I am not my education. I mean, academically, I'm not fantastic. What is their children going to benefit from me? So, but with those conditions, it makes me gentle and now religiously obey. And I turn good leave, and parents start using me. Can't you see Jide? He will not miss school, he will still go to lesson, he will still have time for every other. I started becoming a good boy, a good reference in the area, the champion. So I will now call even my age mates and be advising, you don't do that. And truly, academically, I started improving. Truly. So we thank God.
But sir, as a megastar, how do you cope when you go around? Are there things you can't do any longer that ordinarily you would have loved to do?
There are a lot of, well, I would say by my nature, I'm very vocal. And by my nature also, I am a bit aggressive by nature. So being vocal, I have to reduce because whatever I say will be taken against me. Just like what some of the things I have said now, I will not be surprised if it's out that you see those senseless ones abusing you. And they don't know that when you abuse an elder, you are causing yourself indirectly, as far as Yorubas are concerned. The elder need not curse you back. You are causing yourself. So those things, you start comporting yourself. Even in the country today, there are a lot of things I would have loved to be saying as a contribution towards the, the country's development and things like that. Ọmọdé gbọ́n, àgbà gbọ́n, la fi dálẹ̀ ẹ̀fẹ̀. We all have something to contribute. No matter how young you are, you have things positive. But if you choose to take the negative aspect of you, that is what you want to be saying, so be it. You are on your own. There, everything we have repercussion. Mm-hmm. So that's just.